So it's almost like I just became a different person, and this new person doesn't like going out dancing. It just feels like a very bizarre mutation. Help! I'm mutating! Ah! Welcome to today's video. Mutation. It's a thing, and depending on your chart, it may be quite a bit of a feature of your design or not. I know for me, mutation is a huge part of my design. I have mutated like crazy in my life, from little mutations ongoing to some very, very significant mutations. And I consider right now to be a very significant mutation that I'm going through, which is why I was inspired to make today's video. So in today's video, we're going to break down what is mutation. Is it a part of your chart? What are the markers that will indicate if it's part of your chart? What are the signs that you're going through a mutation? And what can you do to make mutation easier, more enjoyable, and more productive, more awesome? If we haven't met, I'm Karen McMullen, and welcome to my channel. I am the Human Design channel because I not only love human design, but I am also a channel for spirit, and I use my connection to help my clients really get clear on who they are and what they're here for. And if you already know me, then please leave a little comment, even just an emoji, let me know you were here. So what is mutation? Mutation is a nonlinear, irrevocable change, transformation. It's nonlinear in that it doesn't happen like in a gradual, sort of predictable way that you're going here, and so you do X, Y, Z, and it gradually takes you there. It's like you just wake up one day and something's changed inside you, or something happens and there's a catalyst for a transformation. This will be for sure an aspect of your design if you have a line 3 or a 6 in your profile. The 3 is the martyr, and they're here to learn through trial and error, and they are here to go through mutations throughout their life. And their mutative nature is really a big part of like the message that they're here to embody and to share. And similarly for the 6 line, I mean, their profile as a role model is inherently mutative because they go through those 3 phases of their life. But also they're here to transform and really demonstrate through lived expression mutation. Anyone with individual or integration circuitry is going to carry a lot of mutation in their chart. And I will briefly show you the places in the chart where you can find that if you want to like screenshot this image and cross-reference it with your chart and see if you have any of these channels. So this would be individual circuitry, and that includes integration. Mutation is one of the hallmarks of individual circuitry, that individuals are here to transform, to go through changes. And that process of change is inherently creative, and it also involves melancholy. And so those are all keynotes of individual circuitry. Next, if you have gate 55 featured strongly in your chart in any place, oh man, you are going through a freaking mutative life. I can attest, gate 55 is my design earth. It's part of my incarnation cross, and that gate is going through a huge mutation as we move into the cross of Sleeping Phoenix from the cross of planning. Natalia and I just did a video about that. I'll link it here for you so you can check that out, about 2027 and that mutation that's happening globally. But Richard Rudd actually did a pretty awesome job of explaining that gate 55 is really at the center of this global mutation. And I personally feel this. I feel like my emotions, because it's an emotional gate, are so intense at times, and I feel like that mutation that's happening globally is like happening in my body. So I'm sure I'll have better words for it at some point in my life, but that's all I have to say about that at this moment. And by extension of that, if you have the incarnation cross of the sleeping phoenix, you're going through a very mutative life because you're a part of this bigger trend of this global mutation that's taking place as we approach 2027. So you have that opportunity to be like the lived embodiment of that transformation, assuming that you're living your design. And I think if you are living your design, it's probably going to be quite a mutative ride for you. So what are the signs of mutation? Well, mutation can happen in like a very small scale. I think there can be mutations that happen maybe during the week, a little bit of a shift, but there's also bigger mutations that can last months or even years. One of the main signs of mutation is melancholy. Melancholy is a feeling of sadness. It can feel like being stuck, that nothing's moving forward, that all of a sudden you're going nowhere, that nothing's working. The external world seems blocked, or maybe you are blocked from wanting to engage in this external world. So there's a real natural sort of withdrawing and going inward that can happen. It can feel very heavy and full of pressure, that there's just this blanket of pressure and heaviness inside of you that I feel like it's very uncomfortable, especially at the beginning. Another sign is just having low energy and feeling very, very tired. So you may find that you want to sleep a lot more than usual, that you might be taking naps or having really long nights of sleep. You might get sick. I've had fevers in many of my intense mutations, and I've also had quite a lot of illnesses that required me to do a cleanse, like a parasite or a candida infection, that kind of thing, where, looking back on it now, I realized that I was actually shifting my frequency in my body and my DNA, and I was clearing out patterns in my DNA. So obviously my body needs an upgrade. So the sickness would come along and then help me to change my diet and do a cleanse and flush through the old energy and upgrade to the new energy. You might just find that all of a sudden the way you think and the way you behave and the way that you feel is different than before. The way that you see, the way you perceive the world, it's just all of a sudden different than it was in some way. And this is what has been happening for me in my life right now. So I made a video in 2022 about a mutation that I was going through. It was actually one of my most viral videos initially. Help, I'm mutating. At the time, I was going through a mutation as a result of going to the Dominican Republic and living there for a few months. And it was so uncomfortable because I was coming up against major resistance. It was like the whole country was pressing on me everywhere I went. Men were giving me like unwanted attention. So there was a lot of external factors that were uncanny, like the way that it would come at me from here and there and there and there and there. It was like abnormal. And how it was eliciting these feelings in me that were just sort of like wanting to erupt. And there were feelings in my body that were shifting and physical symptoms. I did a cleanse at that time. All of a sudden I wanted to wear red clothing. And it was a really big shift in my sexuality and my sexual expression. And that mutation carried through from then on. So there was the initial period, but then there was the integration of that. And I got really into bachata dancing here in the Dominican Republic and really learned more skillfully how to move. I became more embodied and went to Cuba. I became more embodied through my dancing there and got really into dancing. And just this trip, I've just come back to the Dominican Republic, and I'm staying at this gorgeous Airbnb that my friend owns, and I got here and I haven't wanted to leave. I haven't wanted to go out. I've just been kind of shocked at my own behavior and my own mindset. I don't want to interact. I forced myself to go out dancing a few times and I didn't feel it at all. I felt like the energies were so different than what I want to be around now. So it's almost like I just became a different person, and this new person doesn't like going out dancing. It just feels like a very bizarre mutation. I've been sleeping a lot, and I've been resting during the day. I've been focusing on cleansing and doing a diet to get rid of parasites. I might have a parasite, so I'm doing a parasite cleanse. My body feels a little bit weakened, so I've just been focusing on my health, but it's also a very, very creative time. So I just put a post up that I've been writing my new book, and with that is like a whole new identity as well. So a few days of this mutation have been very, very uncomfortable. I've been very melancholic on those days, very low, my mind going to darker mindsets of feeling hopeless or feeling really discouraged. But then on the other side of that, it's like breaking through into a new being, a new butterfly. And it's just so amazing. It's new life, it's regeneration. So what to do when you are mutating? I've given you some of the answers just in my little story, but go with it. Surrender to it. The more you surrender to it and participate with it actively, the better. If you need to sleep, sleep as much as you can. If you feel tired, rest. Your body is literally mutating, like you are actually changing. It takes energy to change. I feel like you're changing your cells, you're changing your genes. I know that I am. And now that I've thought about it, I can link back mutations and see that I've been cleansing and doing physical work to allow the mutation to happen on a physical level. Like all the dancing, all the cleansing, the physical healing and physical releasing that I've been doing over the years has coincided with the process of mutation so that the mutation can happen fully in the body. And I can remember periods where I slept for like 10 to 13 hours a night for years when I was going through a profound transformation at the beginning of when I had my reading from Human Design, and it was so transformative, but I was exhausted. I was so exhausted. I just slept and slept and slept and slept. So if you're feeling low, let yourself feel low. Like excavate the emotions, work with them, maybe get some support if you need support, and create. It's an extremely, extremely creative time. So if you can channel what you're going through into creation, that is amazing. It's a good time to withdraw from others. So if you need some more space than usual, see if you can carve that out for yourself and tend to the shift that's happening within you, because ultimately it's going to be of service to everybody, because you're becoming something new, you're evolving and becoming something even more beautiful and even more upgraded from who you were before. And that itself carries a frequency of transformation for others. So if you're mutating, mutate. Mutate. I once got the nickname Mutor when I was at camp as a kid, because I went to bed and then all these mosquitoes bit my eye while we were sleeping, and I got like a huge swollen eye for days. I had an allergic reaction, so they called me Mutor. But I am Mutor. I really am. I have so much mutation in my chart, and I feel like I'm a master mutator. So if you are mutating and you need some mutation support, I am your woman. A lot of people who book sessions with me are during a mutative time. And one of the things that's so uncomfortable about that is that you're going from something known through the void. You don't know what you're becoming. You don't know what's on the other side. You just know stuff is changing. You don't even know why. You're necessarily going to have to let go of the familiar and go through a period of transition where you are in the void. You don't know what's coming next. You don't know what you're becoming, and you're not getting the preview. Like, you usually don't know for at least a chunk of time, and then you come out the other side and you start to see the shifts, and you kind of get a sense, oh, this is what this mutation is. One thing that I like to do in a mutative period is to really center myself in my connection with God. So, in this time I've been waking up really a lot in the morning, like 4 a.m., 5 a.m., and meditating for some hours, and even praying for forgiveness, praying for healing. Things that are unresolved within me have been coming to the surface. So I'm working with that. And there's actually 2 processes from my Freedom Frequency program that I think would be really helpful for you if you are in that period. The first one is an activation of your direct connection with God. It's called the Freedom Frequency Activation. And then the second one is the forgiveness activation, which is called Freedom from Past Disappointments. So I will link the Freedom Frequency somewhere, whether it's in the description box or here for you, so that you can grab that resource if you feel like that's where you're at. It's delivered as a video, and it's $55 each, so it's definitely affordable and it's really good. So, but in addition, I do have a lot of expertise in the realm of mutation, because my chart is extremely mutative. I have the 6 profile, I have the Sleeping Phoenix Incarnation Cross, I have 6 individual integration channels. So, like, there's nothing stable about my chart. Maybe the 4th line is stable, but a lot of clients will come to me when they're in that kind of shaky void place, because I'm really good at seeing where you're at, what you're becoming, and helping with the transformation process so that you can move through to the other side of absolute clarity. And when you have absolute clarity, then it's easier to move forward, because you're not stopped by some internal block or a lack of knowing where you're going. So if you haven't done a reading with me, that's a great place to start. But if you already have a reading with me, you will have the opportunity to always book a few sessions. I have a 1-month package or a 1 session a month package, but those are only available to people who I know and who I've worked with. So you can always just email me if you want to know about what those packages are. So let me know how you resonate. Let me know what your design is, if mutation is a part of your design, and how you experience it. I'd love to hear any useful tips that you have, or things that I didn't mention that you think are important for other people on the channel to know about. I'll put the link to the other mutation video in case you want to see the past version of me. I put actually a few versions of me talking about mutation, and I think anyone that watches my past videos can really see the transformation I've been going through, not only with the aging process, but the transformation as well. Okay, well, thanks again for watching. I will see you again soon here on my channel. So much love. Bye.